Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Whizzbang Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Goodall. We're back in my kitchen. I should mention we're back in my kitchen. It's super hot in here. We're going to have a good time. Today, my guest is singer-songwriter, guitar player, bluesman, soulman, tie-dye shirt wearing, overall beast, Jeremy Short. Welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thanks for the intro like that, man.
That's a good intro, right? Did that feel good for you?
It's pretty good. I like it.
Dude, how's it going? What's your playing feeling like? I like to ask real technical instrumental questions at first. How often are you playing right now?
Well, man, I try to pick up the guitar every day.
Every single day?
Every single day. I try to go to where I've got a different place that's not my house, and I go and I play guitar. And, you know, when the pandemic happened last year, I didn't play a lot of guitar. I sat at home and didn't do, because I'm the type of guy, if I don't have things to do on the horizon, you know,
it'll get a little stagnant, won't it?
It gets away from me.
Yeah.
So I've been picking up the guitar more often recently, and you know, you just approach it differently that way after you haven't played.
Yeah, I'll take a break every once in a while. This week is definitely one of those weeks where like I haven't played for like maybe 10 days. And then you sit back down and it's like, dude, you don't have any of that muscle memory baloney that you just start playing. So I haven't played for a couple of weeks. I'm interested to see how I fall back into it. I'm waiting for the impetus to get me back into piano playing. But I did, during the pandemic, I think I got into jazz. I think I got deep into the jazz thing and was like really bebopping a lot or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Becoming a bopper. I don't think that's a real term. I think I just made that up.
I think that works.
That's a work? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, so I'll go into that, but when it's really hot like it is now in my kitchen today, I'm not in a jazz mood. I'm not also even in really like a playing mood because maybe I'm physically uncomfortable. I just feel like hanging out with my friends all the time and going to shows, walking downtown and watching the 9th Street thing or whatever. Yeah. Like, that's what I feel like doing all the time now.
No, I agree with that. If it's a little too hot in the place where I'm playing, it's uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable to play, you know?
Yeah, I had a sound check just a couple of weeks ago when I played that show down there, and I was like, I might not survive this gig.
Yeah.
I might not make it because there was no overhead, and the sun was just pointing directly at me.
Yeah, I did one of those recently a week ago here in Huntington, just outdoors, and the sun was right there on your face.
I still prefer to play outside as long as, you know, death isn't a possibility. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. Keep some cold water around. You know, I mean, maybe if you're a singer, that's not the best idea.
Right.
Closer to room temperature water.
Tell me a little bit about Short and Company and how that got started and what the goal is. Like, what do you... When you start something, you give it a name, you give it an LLC, you stick with it for so long. What is the goal, the vehicle that you're trying to get driving with Short and Company?
Man, I want to play guitar.
Yeah.
You know, for first, you know, foremost, that's what I've loved to do forever. And
yeah.
I love to sing and I love to write. So I'm just trying to get those feelings out a little bit with the group of people that want to do that with me.
Yeah.
And right now, I've got the right group and the right sound. And the kids I'm playing with right now are just lighting a good fire.
Yeah, that'll help.
Oh, yeah.
Having really good dudes to play with makes it a lot easier.
Oh, it's so much fun. And when you're like-minded, you know, music individuals, you know, and you like all the same stuff, it just clicks.
Yeah, the best part is when you line up with dudes or anybody who you're playing with, and it's the unspoken thing. If you can get that unspoken thing to where a head nod can let a bunch of other people know that you're about to go crazy with it, you know what I mean? That's hard to find, but when you do, those are like your soulmates. Those are like your musical soulmates, and it's really tough to play with other people who aren't your music soulmates in that way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're at a point right now where we've been playing the songs we've been playing for the last couple of months, and I can just give them a look, you know, when I want somebody to play licks during the verse or whatever, you know, or you take a long solo or something like that. Just little, you know, point and the look.
Yeah.
Little cues.
I sometimes push the look to the point where people don't know what I'm asking of them, and it just goes, and it's not, certainly not my band's fault. It's my fault because I'll just be like doing the head nod thing, and they have, in my head, I'm saying we're going to go back to the bridge, and then we're going to make up an outro on the spot based on the root and probably going back to the fifth. Yeah. It's like, dude, they're not going to know what that is.
They're supposed to know it. They're supposed to know that, right?
Yeah, it's okay if they don't know it for sure. They're not supposed to know it, but as long as I can, sometimes you can kind of shift them into it. But
well, sometimes I love it when a band gets there, though. when a band just has that ESP among the members and they can just shift around on stage and take the music to these unexpected places.
Yeah, my favorite thing about playing on stage is the improvisation and landing on your feet when you didn't know you were going to get there.
Yeah.
That's when it's most fun. Honestly, just executing the song the way it was written and recorded is sometimes not exciting enough.
No, it's not. I agree. Well, recording the song and then playing the song for people every night are two different things. You want to record it and you want to get it right in that moment, right? You know what I mean? You're doing everything you can to make it as best as it can be in whatever amount of time you have to record it. But then once you do that, that's done, right? So I'm always just thinking, how can you improve on that?
Yeah, and there's always stuff that you didn't have time to execute in the studio that you now can play in the live setting. I can't remember one time I actually played a song exactly how it was recorded.
Agreed.
Ona doesn't really do that really anymore either. We've created all kinds of extra sections and breathing room, I would call it, where a song was 4.5 minutes in the studio and now it's like 6.5, 7. I think that's standard issue though for bands that really are based on playing and not based on just pop compositions, because that's just what you should do. I can't really recall seeing any act in my life really where it was that strict playing the recording, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all the great ones that I've ever seen, they rearrange their big hits, you know what I mean? The stuff that you would expect to hear a certain way. I saw Michael McDonald here in Huntington.
He's an improviser like that?
Yeah, back in 2000, I want to say 10 or 11. I can't remember, not important what year. But man, he did It Keeps You Running. Man, he totally rearranged it. It sounded and felt like Don't Keep Me Wondering by the Allman Brothers.
Okay.
Kind of had that groove about it, but it was It Keeps You Running. And it was so cool just to hear him at that stage of artist that he was at that time, rearranging his stuff.
Still, to this day. Was he wearing a denim shirt and real sweaty? Every time I see him, he's usually got a denim shirt. He looks like Jay Leno. He dresses like Jay Leno, and he's usually pretty sweaty. And always completely killing.
Killing it. The only guy I've ever seen that actually had roses and women's underwear thrown at him on stage. Yeah.
Thank you for the roses.
And, he went into Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and that's all it took. That's all it took.
Dude, that's what it's about. It's about being an old, sweaty guy, still playing your hits, and having people throw roses and potentially underwear at you. That really is the dream of any artist, really. We can only hope to get to that point, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah. I mean, I was jealous.
Yeah, I am now. I wasn't at that concert. I'm jealous of the story. I would have liked to have just been there to witness that.
It's been one of my favorite concerts for sure.
Speaking of classic artists, did you get to see Steely Dan?
Never. I didn't get to see him before Becker passed. And I know they still do dates. Steely Dan. They've still got a great band.
And Donald Fagen has his own thing now called the Night Flyers.
The Night Flyers.
And it's like young guys that are all from like Woodstock, New York.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. They do some of the rearrangements to that stuff. I saw Steely Dan in Charleston, West Virginia, like 5-6 years ago.
Wow.
It was a really long concert. Like, I wasn't even enough of a fan to really appreciate what went down.
Yeah.
But it was real good.
Man, they got a lot of songs. You know what I mean?
A lot of songs.
They could do a 3-hour concert. You know all the words. You know what I mean? They're one of those types of bands.
Yeah.
For sure.
Favorite Steely Dan record? Give it to me. Well, don't do favorite record.
Okay.
Do favorite record.
Gaucho.
No way, that's my favorite.
Gaucho's the best, man.
All right, let's talk about Gaucho for another 2 hours. Keep the cameras rolling. We're going to talk about Gaucho for a long time now. My favorite aspect of Gaucho is how slick it is.
It's so slick.
Also, the lyrics of Gaucho, some of them, not the song but the album, are some of the most storytelly, understandable lyrics. They're like Glamour Profession. Every lyric makes sense.
Yeah, they're pretty out in the open with what the songs mean.
Yeah, it's not like the early era of Steely Dan where they're really kind of more cryptic, like Can't Buy a Thrill and stuff.
Yeah, you got to be super hip, to get what's going on in a lot of these Steely Dan songs.
I think for some of those first Steely Dan albums, you didn't have to just be hip. You had to be Donald Fagen or Walter Becker to even understand.
Exactly right, yeah. You had to be those guys because I don't even think they know a lot of the times what they're talking about.
Pretty cryptic stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I can't believe that's your favorite. Why is it your favorite? Tell me about that.
It's just been in my life for a long time. When I was in high school, I discovered Asia, and Gaucho at around the same time. So I was probably 17 years old discovering those two albums, and they've just been around. And then from there, you go further down the rabbit hole. I bought all the studio albums and Donald Fagen solo albums and Becker solo albums.
Yeah.
It's just been an obsession for a long time.
Yeah, the Donald Fagen's The Night Flight was one of those things where I wasn't really looking for anything to come in and like be that big of a deal for me, and it just somehow it crept in and was like I went deep into that thing. If it was a book, I would have read it like 100 times. It was one of those types of things.
Same.
I don't even really know why. I mean, it's basically all the lyrics are about like Cold War suburbia. Like it's not really anything I can relate to in that respect, but something about the production is so meticulous and like the arrangements are so meticulous that it's very, very satisfying on the ears.
It really is. Yeah.
It's extremely satisfying.
Yeah.
That's something that I like got into in my recording process, but it's like climbing a pyramid or something. You're never going to do that, or trying to build a pyramid, I guess.
Yeah.
You can just try to take a little piece of it and make do with how good that thing is, because it's impossible to try to recreate the just the cleanliness of the arrangements.
They're so clean. They're so clean. And another one of his I like is Kamakiri. Are you into that album at all?
I am a little bit, but the production of it, or
Yeah.
just the instruments they use and like that 90s style of it,
It's a little
sort of turned me
quieter.
off at first,
a
but
little
I've learned it.
quieter.
It's grown on me.
Yeah, I like it. But the Night Fly, that production is very, very slick. And the songs on it are all just perfect, if you ask me. I don't think there's a moment wasted in the whole time that the album runs.
I agree with that. Speaking of moments not wasted, we're going to wrap it up, but I could talk to you for another 4 hours about this. And maybe once
easily.
we shut the cameras off, we'll do that.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming by. Jeremy Short. Thank you, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Brad. I appreciate it.